The following contest is your main event of the evening and is a last wrestler standing match. Absolutely incredible. This crowd is electric for this. They are ready. We are ready. This has been, what, a year in the making?
Well, it's 10 years in the making if you go back to the time they first met up in Newcastle and established fairly soon after. They were best friends. They had a hiccup back in 21. It started with a kiss and a no disqualification match where Charli or Chevs entered into Jessica entered into Chevs' world, and they ended up even stronger friends. But this has got really, really ugly. This fight began with those entrances. Each competitor trying to assert the dominance as they come together in the ring. Diego, we're underway.
This is not going to be a technical masterpiece. This is a fight. This is bad blood. This is pent-up aggression, hatred, jealousy, what have you. It has all come to a head.
For the uninitiated, Diego, and I know there are a few out there, last wrestler standing, what does it mean?
Basically, put your opponent down. If they cannot get up when the referee counts to 10, the match is yours.
No other means of victory, no disqualification.
No disqualification, no submission, no pinfall. Incapacitate your opponent for a count of 10.
Jessica Troy's ankle was damaged in that match against North Shore Wrestling when she teamed with the Dropouts. Chevs has said to her hurt ankle and neck, she wants to hurt her heart. Okay.
Oh, she's bleeding.
Oh, she's opened her up, I think.
She's opened her up.
Oh, I mean, Chevs just slumped and her knees collided with the apron.
Was just thinking, Meteora from the top onto the apron.
Yeah, I guess fighting fire with fire a little bit here.
Oh,
look out. North Shore Wrestling are getting involved. They've grabbed the chair off Troy.
She was expecting this. She's ready for this, Rose.
We were all expecting this, Diego.
What the hell? I mean, look, there's nothing they can do.
There's nothing they can do.
It's legitimate.
This is a legitimate part of... eats a knee.
This is not right. This is not how we wanted to see this match go. She's up to 7.
The dropouts are in.
Here come the dropouts to even the numbers. Darkman!
Talk about your cavalry. The dropouts have come to even it up and square the ledger. As Troy has the preference for the left arm, Rose, Chevs has been working on that left knee of Jessica Troy to some great effect.
We saw it. Look at these both against the ropes. Oh, both connect with a huge clothesline. Both are down.
Barely get Chevs up. Chevs is...
Oh, damn. Is that the Coliseum sword right there?
Yeah,
oh, my God, this is crazy. They're on stage right in front of us here, guys. It's just going to suplex Chevs onto this hard stage.
Oh, my God. Look at Chevs.
And again, reversal after reversal. Troy's head goes across Chev's knee. Oh, my goodness. Both of them again. Chev's trying to stop it. Troy is literally going to cut her forehead open with the Coliseum sword. Oh, my God. Holy crap. Well, boys, we were wondering whether Jessica Troy could cross the line to win a match like this tonight. I think she just did.
She just did.
Crossed it. She vaulted it. She absolutely, but it's up. She's distressed. There's a realization here right now.
She's just realized what she's just done.
There's the savage beauty of this, though.
Yeah.
It's an 8.
That's 9.
That's a 9.
No.
Troy won't let her die. Won't let her die. Troy picked her up just like Chevs did. These two are nuts.
It's hard. They want. It's like they're not satisfied with the win. They're satisfied with the terminating.
Hey, Troy's got to move now. It's a 9 count. One more. We got a new champ.
So, hey everybody, welcome to Working the Indies. As always, I'm Joe Compton.
And hey, it's me, the man, the myth, the legend, the heel you love to love, and the man that you love to hate, Bryan Tann.
I just watched something for an hour that happened in Pro Wrestling Australia between one of the people to watch out for, Jessica Troy, who was the PWA World Heavyweight Champion. She competed in a last wrestler standing match against her former best friend turned to arch nemesis, Chevs, better known as Charli Evans.
Not like this.
Crowd is in shock.
In what was spectacular storytelling, an hour of just incredible work. There's a moment in this match where Jessica Troy does a meteora from the top of the stage down to the bottom of the staircase perfectly, not only on Charli Evans, but on her two goons that were in the match as well.
Charli Evans is bleeding all over the stairs of the Factory Theatre, all over the stage.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Chevs tries to make her way back to the ring, but North Shore.
She's between a rock and a hard place.
The dropouts are stopping her from getting away. Jessica Troy from the stage. Oh, meteora!
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, there's just there's color in this match. There is intrigue. There is a slap fight that is just amazing. I mean, there is just so much that goes on. And then there's a surprise entrant who turns the table on the match and changes everything. This was an incredible match. Hats off to Jessica Troy and Charli Evans. Awesome. I thought this was
I'm going to have to check that out.
It is on YouTube. We'll put the link in there. You can watch it for free. And it's the entire match in its entirety from the opening credits where they come out, their entrances to the end of the show itself. The commentary is interesting. It's just so amazing. There's a lot that went on in this match, and I thought it was really fantastic. And I think everybody should check it out. It'll certainly be something I talk about at the end of the year when we talk about matches of the year for sure. So
that's going to be a good show because we're going to have a lot to talk about.
Yes, sir.
I feel like this year, I feel like every year the wrestling industry as a whole starts to really grow a little bit more. So we had, the 60s, the 70s, we had the golden age in the 80s. And then in the 90s, the wrestling industry really shrunk to just 3.
Yeah.
And then in the early aughts, we had 1. And then it was really difficult to start building that back up now. But now here we are, we're getting ready to go. We're halfway through this decade. We're going into the next decade. And I feel like every year is just getting better and better for wrestling fans.
And it's worldwide, which I love. I love that there's new world territories popping up. I mean, this is Australia that we're talking about. And Australia's been a hotbed for wrestling for a long time. And now that I'm getting into it, I'm like, it's better than anything Japan's doing right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that straight up, right? And that's a hard thing to say because I've always been a fan of like Noah and all the independents in Japan. So.
And that says something too, because Japan is where we got that strong style, that very, very stiff working style, that sort of shoot style. Yeah. And the fact that, you know, Australia is, you know, really in a lot of ways taking that spot where you got, you know, the American product, you got the Canadian product, and then here we are with Australia, with Japan being now, you know, number 4. And Britain still sort of holding on to their spot tight as possible. I'll tell you what, though, I would love to see in Europe and in Australia, if they started, you know, maybe doing a lot of what the NWA is doing now, and then start exchanging talent in that regard as well. Make, like you said, make it the worldwide thing.
It's funny you say that because the Australian promotions are doing that. Jessica Troy wrestled in Melbourne for quite a bit of time. The Melbourne promotion that she was wrestling, and she actually won the title for a little bit in the Melbourne League there. So they are exchanging. I don't know that they would ever. I think they still think of each other as filthy animals. So I don't think New Zealand and Australia would ever actually, you know, partner up. But
yeah,
that would be the natural progression.
Yeah, but still, I think it's great, and you know, I'm really a big fan of the product that we're getting right now.
There's an insane amount of chatter right now in the world of professional wrestling about the future of the sport, perhaps more so than at any time in its 100-plus year history. And for those that don't know, about 8 years ago, I bought the National Wrestling Alliance for this very moment, to tell you all that the NWA isn't just about its past, but its present and its future.
There is a major celebrity running an indie promotion, a wrestling promotion right now, who I felt like right before the pandemic was doing the best work of any of the promotions out there. And it seems like he kind of lost his way. I think because Smashing Pumpkins put out a new album and they went on tour a little bit, so he kind of let it subside a little bit, kind of let it foster, let it kind of boil a little bit. But NWA is starting to come back and hit its stride again. And
I think it's because he found out that Bill Burr is his brother, so he better.
That is a fascinating thing, yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's something that NWA is doing that I think that I wanted to talk about today, which is they're marking their territory and they're really coming across like, you know, we're going to kind of bring back the old model of the NWA where we have this Canada contingency that is thriving right now. We have our main ship here. We're kind of testing the waters on the West Coast. They have a little mini promotion in Sacramento that they just ran a show at. They're calling it as under the NWA banner, but it was a different promotion's name. So they're kind of hugging the old idea of NWA. And I was kind of curious what you think about that. Do you think there's enough of that to go around? Do you think the one thing about that I think is interesting from the old days was it brought about bringing new stars to the table. Mm-hmm. Whereas here, I think you have to depend on already made stars because a lot of indie promotions, a lot of guys are going away from AEW and WWE because they want the freedom to roam and do all the things, right? Go to Japan and go to Mexico and do this and do that. And while WWE and AEW are loosening the reins a little bit on that aspect of it, they still have total control over if they don't want you to do a certain show or not.
Look at the two rosters. You know, WWE has gotten so huge that they've got 3 independent brands plus partnering with TNA. AEW has Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
they're
partnered with New Japan and CMS.
Right.
So
they are both these rosters are so bloated right now that they can't, like, you can be a top guy, but you're going to be mid card or lower because not everyone can be in the main event. So I think that what NWA is doing right now is amazing for the industry because, number one, I love the NWA model where you had the different territories that were under that banner. And then the world champion goes to these different territories and it picks up, like, it just makes the product exciting.
Yeah.
But it's not going to get bogged down with the same feuds all the time. Like we get, like, look, there's only so many times you can see CM Punk wrestling against Seth Rollins. And I really miss the classic squash matches where you would have the local guys, you know, going up against the stars so the stars can look good. So that way, when they went up against each other, it was a big deal. Yeah. Now it's Monday and Friday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
You
TV
know,
ratings have ruled the roost. You know?
Right. And look, I would rather see my main event matches be main event matches. Not we've gotten so spoiled with these main event matches. Like I still remember, and I think we were talking about this a few months ago. I used to love to watch the old Raw episodes. I remember folks saying, wow, Undertaker versus Damian Demento. Really? You know what, though? Damian Demento was kind of a monster heel, though, for a little while.
Yeah.
So that being the main event of the very first Raw, that was a big deal. And that was over.
As people begin to speculate about the future of the NWA, I am the 100% owner of the National Wrestling Alliance. I have staked my name, my reputation, and yes, even my fortune on the future of this company, for I believe in who we are and what we do. And this is not to denigrate anybody that we're in business with, but the National Wrestling Alliance isn't going anywhere.
I think NWA doing that, I think it's an amazing job. I think it's a great move by Billy Corgan and his staff, because it's going to keep the product fresh. And when you don't have the same world champion squashing the whole roster because they're traveling to the different territories, now you're building up your young guys.
Yeah.
And your established guys that are still there, they're able to have their main event time. And as they're doing that, they're polishing the young guys. So then when the main event guys move to the other territory to keep it fresh and the world champions coming through, they have just constant people to work with. You don't have to bury talent anymore.
You can also shift titles in an interesting manner, doing it this way as well, where you have your Canadian world champion, never losing heat because they're going to go for the television title or something to that effect, right? And I think that really helps sell the action too, and sells a big time like pay-per-view where you're going to have title versus title. This title, because this guy is represented here and not on NWA, this is the title you're going to fight for, kind of thing. And you can go to the different places and go, we're fighting for all the you can even do like a USA versus Canada kind of thing, right?
Right.
You can do all kinds of different things that are fascinating. It also enhances their gimmick stuff like the Crockett Cup. Now you have guys from the Canadian territory, from the Sacramento territory, from the North Carolina territory coming and being a part of the Crockett Cup and making a name for themselves that way by winning a first round match or, getting over on an NWA enhancement guy, something to that effect. And then moving into the semifinals, you have a special guy like the Canadian world champion could make it all the way to the semifinals and then make a name for himself in that respect, or she can make a name for herself. A woman could do it in the Women's Crockett Cup, So all of that matters in the scheme of things. Plus, also the Crockett Cup brings about the interesting thing that I've always loved about the Crockett Cup is it brings about tag teams that are unnatural. Where you had Dusty Rhodes and Hawk one year win the Crockett Cup because Animal was hurt and Dusty Rhodes had no partner and he picked Hawk. And they beat Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson that year, right? And they beat the built-in teams. And then you still had your Midnight Expresses, and you still have all these guys. So you're going to have your Blunt Force Trauma still established as a team, and they're going to make it far. They're going to make it to the quarters or the semis. But then you have the Tom Latimers teaming with the Canadian World Champion, whoever that is at the time, and that all lends itself to just good television and good wrestling.
Absolutely. Not to mention the fact that, look, not for nothing, I miss the old and I keep saying TNA because TNA used to be an NWA territory. I miss the old NWA belt. I really do. I really missed, Ric Flair holding it because he was synonymous with that belt. And then when WCW became its own thing, it went to that big gold belt, which still I like the belt. I think it was amazing, but at the same token, I miss that NWA belt. So for those
gold, baby.
Yeah. So for those that are wondering, these are the NWA promotions. You can check this out on Wikipedia. That's where I'm looking. We got
Nice.
the NWA Exodus Pro Midwest out of Cleveland, Ohio. NWA Jim Crockett Promotions Southeast in Tennessee, Coalfield, Tennessee. NWA Chicago, NWA Crossfire in Tennessee, and then NWA World League Wrestling in Troy, Missouri. So they've been building this up. It started out with 2 in 2023, and then they expanded to 5 in 2024. And then you've got Dog Pound Championship Wrestling and Texas Style Wrestling, part of NWA Texas, and then Duke City Championship Wrestling out of NWA New Mexico. So now what you're getting now an opportunity for kids all across the U.S. and Canada being able to go and get trained, learn the business. Because, when I was a kid wanting to get into the business, we had PWX. I didn't know how to get in touch with anyone. We had Bruno Sammartino's promotion, but he was primarily bringing in, guys that, he knew. And we didn't have anything in Western Pennsylvania because ECW had their stuff in Philly. And then when they did open up something in Western Pennsylvania, it was in Beaver County. And of course, information wasn't as forthcoming then as it is now. But the bottom line is you've got these different territories. You can have an alternative to Stanford. You can have an alternative to Georgia. You have alternatives now. Yeah. And who's to say MLW maybe won't loan one of their top guys? You can do these things now. I think it's amazing. Yeah. I love it.
I think MLW is trying to lean heavily on old guys like Matt Riddle, and you got Bishop Dyer out there, which is formerly Baron Corbin, Nick Nemeth as well. Matt Cardona, I think, has made appearances. GCW as well. GCW is kind of actually connected more to AEW, so there's a little bit of that overlap. Although some WWE guys have now started to appear on GCW as well. So there are promotions out there that are trying to, strong arm their way into the lexicon. The one thing about the NWA is they're not shilling this, right? They're just saying this is how we're going to do it, and like it or not, and take it. And it's slowly built because people get into it and people like having local favorites. Like, I'm sure the guys in New Mexico like seeing their New Mexico guys go to Atlanta and wrestle Tom Latimer
and do well. Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention, there's something to be said too about having pride in your local guy. No, I love what NWA is doing. I hope that they keep it going. And yeah, man, I'm all for it. Billy Corgan, look, you the man, brother.
Well, all I know, Brian, is it's always time to go indie now.
It is always time to go.